In today's video, I will be explaining sinking funds. This is a beginner's guide to sinking funds with me, The Art of Budgeting. In this video, just as the title suggests, this is a beginner's guide to sinking funds, why I personally use sinking funds, and an example of how I calculate some of my sinking funds. I will also provide examples of different sinking fund categories that you may wish to incorporate into your own budget at the end. So what are sinking funds? To me, I view sinking funds as mini savings accounts that I can use to prepare for large known upcoming expenses. Personally, I use 4 separate sinking funds in my current budget. I find sinking funds to be a valuable tool, ensuring I never, if ever, experience bill shock. In the upcoming portion of this video, I will detail the fund categories that I use and provide more information on each individual fund with examples. So as you can see here, I have 4 separate funds as of this moment. Now this will change in the future as I look to potentially purchase a newer vehicle. My current funds are miscellaneous, medical, car, and beauty. So if we jump straight into miscellaneous, this covers expenses such as license renewals, gifts, my yearly AFL membership, and other miscellaneous outgoings. Each month I contribute $100 to this fund, giving me a yearly total of $1,200. Moving on to medical. I feel this one is quite self-explanatory, but here I specifically budget for a yearly skin check, optical expenses such as prescription sunglasses and glasses. I recently had to purchase new glasses and the total after my health insurance rebate was deducted was still well over $300 out of pocket, so I was very thankful for my sinking fund that day. I also like to set aside funds for general dental and physio appointments, again just to cover the gap that my insurance does not cover each appointment. And finally, for this category, I like to include a small amount of money for pharmacy purchases. So say for example, if I needed antibiotics after a doctor's appointment, I can utilize money from this fund. Each month I contribute $50 to this fund, giving me a yearly total of $500. So moving on to my car, this is quite a large sinking fund. I service my car twice yearly. I also like to save over the long term for things like tyre replacements, puncture repairs, new batteries, all of those little things that add up over time. I also include my yearly car registration and my roadside assistance. Each month I contribute $150 to this fund, giving me a yearly total of $1,800. Then last but not least is my beauty fund, my favourite. This fund covers things like laser hair removal, haircuts, makeup and skincare product purchases. Just a disclaimer though, 90% of the products that I purchase are pharmacy or drugstore brands, which I find really help to keep my overall costs down through the year. I will also generally stock up on key items during 50% off or more sales. Each month I contribute $100 to this fund, giving me a yearly total of $1,200. If I ever wanted to get my eyebrows tinted or my nails done for a special event, I would utilize money from this sinking fund or my splurge account. So you might be wondering how I calculate how much that I should be allocating towards a sinking fund. Well, you can do it in a few simple steps, which I will explain now. So step 1 is to collate all of your large, infrequent, and known expenses. This is things like your insurance premiums, your car registrations, and things like that. You should be able to take the total yearly figure, so say for example $750 for car registration, and then you can divide that amount by 12. This will give you an average monthly figure that you can put aside to start saving for these large expenses. So in this example, this equals $62.50 per month that you could start to allocate each month towards a sinking fund for car registration. So having this sinking fund in place means that you know when your bill arrives, you have sufficient funds waiting to pay this account in full for a year if you wanted to. Personally, I like to pay mine yearly. It's just one less thing to worry about, and generally it works out to be the cheaper option for me. So step 2 is calculating all of your variable, large, known expenses. Now I found that I needed to use my imagination a little bit with variable expenses. They may not be exact all of the time, or at least the first time around, but they are a good starting point to work towards. So let's say, for example, car servicing. I know that I like to service my car at least twice a year. So this is a known expense, but it can fluctuate depending on the service required, the age of the vehicle, and other factors. So my car is 9 years old, and I know that it may cost me $300 per service. Now it could be more, it could be less. This is just an average that I've calculated over the years. So with this in mind, my sinking fund should be at least $600 per year. Dividing that over 12 months, I would need to contribute $50 per month to my car sinking fund for servicing alone. Now this is a third of my allocated sinking fund for the year, and at least another third is dedicated to my car registration costs. By using these two simple steps, you can start to generate your own funds and potential required amounts. Carry out these equations across all of your fixed and variable known expenses to get started. So in the upcoming portion of this video, I have included some examples of sinking fund categories that you may wish to consider or hadn't thought to include in your own budget. So let's jump straight into those. So firstly, holiday fund. Now I know you may be thinking this is obvious, but I would break this down into local, interstate, and overseas vacations. Then we have your utilities, your gas, your water, and electricity. Your vet bills, gifts such as Christmas, birthdays, Mother's Days, all those sorts of holidays that occur during the year, insurance premiums, property maintenance, a new car fund, any major dental or cosmetic medicine procedures, say lip fillers or Botox, things you might want to save up for over the long term, appliance repair and replacement, and then finally I have included furniture replacement and upgrades. So here are the sinking funds listed. You can pause here to take a photo of the screen or take a screenshot if you're watching on your phone. Feel free to leave any additional fund suggestions in the comments below that maybe I haven't considered. So my final thoughts on sinking funds. Nearly everyone knows that dreaded feeling of getting your car registration notice in the mail. With a sinking fund in place, this is just one less thing to worry about and one less thing to stress over. When my notice arrives, I know the money is in my sinking fund there, ready to go. I will generally pay my registration the day I receive it for a year in advance. For me, this works out slightly cheaper and I don't have to give it another thought for at least 12 months. So one last thing, I find it's always a good idea to over budget on variable expenses and allow a little more than you think you might need so you don't get caught out, especially when first implementing sinking funds. So do you use sinking funds as a tool in your financial journey? Do you find them to be beneficial for you and your circumstances? I'd love to know in the comments, and please let me know if you have any feedback regarding this video or if there is any videos you would like to see in future. Thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any future videos. You can also find me on Instagram and Pinterest if you are a part of those platforms. Please feel free to come say hey. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave those in the comments below and I will see you in the next video.